This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, thank you all for attending today. Again, my name is Dick Kilhart and will soon be the former chairman of the JTC after the last year and 3/4. Moving to item number 2, public comments. Do we have any comments that folks may like to bring forward to the group at this time?
I do not see any hands or notices, so I think we're all set.
Okay. So the approval of the June 14 minutes was sent to all of us. Are you going to put those up, Brad, just for those that might not have seen that? Is there any-
Yep. Here we are.
I would entertain a motion to accept those minutes as presented. Unless someone
So
sees a
moved,
change.
Guy Corbisero.
Is there a second?
I'll second Travis Condon.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, seeing none.
Okay.
We'll
Dick, I see a
move-
hand raised from
Oh, you
Tim.
do? Okay.
Sorry
Go
about
ahead.
that, Tim.
Yeah, I was having problem getting audio on the phone. Sorry, I can't get the hand to go down for some reason.
Oh, okay. All right, no problem. If you have any other issues, just feel free to wave the hand or just make a gesture on the screen.
Yeah, I think I just got it to go away. Sorry about that.
No
No
problem.
worries. Okay. Moving forward to item number 4. We just, prior to this meeting, had a nominating committee meeting, and the nominations put forth are up in front of you on the screen. Chair Robert Schwartz from Gardner, and Vice Chair Travis Condon from NCMCC, and the Secretary Beth Faxon from Townsend. Are there any other nominations from the group, or from the floor, I guess, if you will, or from remotely
Yeah,
from
we-
the floor?
We can take a nomination from the floor if anyone is interested.
Is there an interest? I don't
I
see
do
any
not
hands
see
raised.
any.
Do you, Brad?
No, I do not.
If there's not any opposition, I think we can simply,
Yeah, typically we ask for approval to cast one ballot for the slate as presented.
that's what I was going to suggest. So I'd be happy to cast that ballot. One for those 3 folks in those positions, please.
Is there any opposition to that motion or to that action?
See any?
Again, do not see any
Okay.
objections. So our
Okay.
new slate. I'm sorry, did someone say something?
No, I was going to talk, but go ahead, Brad.
So our new officers for the MJTC are Bob Schwartz from Gardner, Travis Condon as vice chair from North Central Mass Chamber of Commerce, and Secretary Beth Faxon from Townsend. Dick, if you don't mind finishing out this meeting, then we have them formally start up the next one.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, moving forward to item number 6, the mass vehicle census, and there's a presentation by Liz of Mass DOT.
I think she's a little late, Chris. She's
I think I see her below.
Oh, okay.
Liz, can you hear us? I think she's the screen with 3
The dot.
dots on it right now.
If it's more convenient, we can jump over to.
She said in the message she was here, but her screen wasn't working. That's what I just saw.
Okay.
Now?
We can hear you.
Okay. Oh, and you can
There you go.
see me? Okay. I don't know why. I've been jumping between Zoom and Teams and GoToMeeting, so maybe my computer just got really confused.
I don't think, can you guys hear? I cannot hear.
Can't hear me still?
I can hear.
I can hear her, Tim.
I don't know if I should start talking. Chris, what do I do?
Does anyone else have any problems hearing Elizabeth or Liz? No? It looks like we
it's
can
okay
hear
with you. Okay, thanks. Well, I'm not sure which camera, but thank you so much for having me. My name is
Liz, you are going in and out on your audio.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I don't know why either. Your picture's up, but your audio's been going in and out.
Audio. Okay. Maybe what if does that help?
Yep, we hear you now. Can you say something? Start up again and we'll see if we.
Testing, I guess.
No, that seems.
Can you? No. Well, Michael, are you on? Do you want to try and just give it a whirl?
Yeah, I can talk. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can, Michael.
Okay, lovely. Hi, so I'm Michael Valencio. I work for OPMI, the Office of Performance Management and Innovation at the MBTA, and we've been collaborating with the RMV and with Liz's team at MassDOT to build this Massachusetts vehicle census. So as we have here, this is the first state level data set in the nation that joins vehicle level odometer readings with vehicle attribute and registration transaction histories. So what does that mean? From kind of a data standpoint, we take three different data sets. We take vehicle registration data, which tells us the vehicle activity, basically the commence date and the seize date for when a vehicle is active. We take odometer readings from annual Massachusetts vehicle inspections. So if we can get two odometer readings, we can tell essentially how far a vehicle has traveled over the course of the time between odometer readings. And we take excise tax bill runs, so we can tell where a vehicle is garaged at a point in time. So if we have a bill from January 1st, we know that the vehicle is known to be garaged in, say, Boston or Springfield. And if that same vehicle has another excise tax bill later in the year, perhaps in October, then we can determine that the vehicle is now located in October in a different state. So based on this data, we have essentially 3 years of daily data points that we've aggregated up into the Massachusetts vehicle census that I will share with you now. Can I become a presenter, please?
Yes, give me 1 second and I will make you a presenter. Just remember how. Okay. Let me find you on my list. Okay, and I want to. Okay, I want. Oh, there we go. Okay, you are an organizer now. I will stop sharing my screen and you should be able to share yours.
Share. Perfect.
There you go.
Can everybody see?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So this right here is the landing page for the Massachusetts vehicle census. And we have at the top essentially 3 KPIs that we've developed, top level metrics: total vehicle count, daily vehicle miles traveled, and average mileage per day. We have a map to the right side where we can kind of see any spatial relationships between municipalities. And we on the bottom, we have kind of a distribution of what you're looking at in the map. And for the left side, on the top part, we have when you select different MPOs or municipalities, you get these top level aggregations, which show you the measure you're looking at. So we have total daily vehicle count, stay in the MPO, and we have 210,000 on January 1st, 2023. This is how many registered vehicles we had. And then 3 years prior, on January 1st, 2020, we had 205,000 for a 3-year change and about 4,600. Compared to statewide, there's a 1% 3-year change, but this is a 2.3% for the MPO. And then we kind of break that total vehicle count down a little bit further into the percentage of the total count vehicles that are classified as zero emission or hybrid. And here we can kind of see growth over 3 years from originally 1.9% of the total count of vehicles were classified as zero emission or hybrid, but over 3 years it grew to 3%, compared to statewide from 2.6% to 4.4%. Does anybody have any questions right now? Okay. So our next measure we have is kind of the daily vehicle miles traveled. Like I said, this is derived from the odometer readings. And we can see that our estimate on January 1st, 2023 was there were 6 million daily VMT compared to 6.4 million on January 1st. So there is less vehicle miles traveled over the 3 years. It's 5.5% less compared to statewide, which is 4.9% decrease. And we break that down further, which is the percentage of all daily vehicle miles traveled for zero emission or hybrid. So basically the proportion of zero emission or hybrid vehicles that are contributing to the total of daily vehicle miles traveled. You can see that that has grown from 2.3% to 3.6%, which is in line with the growth in total count of zero emission or hybrid vehicles. Our next measure is essentially the average mileage per day. And you can see there's some spatial similarities here compared to these 4, and this 5th one over here, these municipalities for the average mileage per day. And we have for all vehicles within the MPO, it's 28.8, which is higher than the statewide average of 6.2. You can break that down again for zero emission or hybrid vehicles and see that the zero emission or hybrid vehicles are averaging 34.6, which is less than the 38.0. Anybody have any questions about this page? So we have a second page, which kind of breaks it down even further. So you can go into different MPOs or municipalities, and you can move through dates historically to see how things have changed. And you can break down the basically the measures of vehicle counts and the average miles driven and daily vehicle miles traveled by different vehicle attributes, which we derive from the registry of motor vehicles. So you can break that down by different advanced vehicle type, which is basically the vehicle propulsion, whether it's electric, fossil fuel, hybrid, or plug-in hybrid. The registered vehicle use, whether the plate is registered commercial, municipal, passenger, or state, and also the vehicle type, the physical attributes of the vehicle. It's an ambulance or a passenger truck, a passenger vehicle, or a truck or a fire truck. So we can go in here and kind of drill down and see only one MPO and look through specific municipalities and kind of see where the proportion of vehicle use is, mostly passenger, which is expected, vehicle type, and advanced vehicle type. Again, expected to be fossil fuel, but you if you look through the data, you see how it has grown over time. Anybody have any questions? We also have 2 other pages, which are based on our legislative requirements for the total number of registrations. So we have 4 dates, January 1st, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. And this is broken down by the total number of active registrations on that date. It's passenger fossil fuel, passenger hybrid, passenger zero emission. Likewise for commercial fossil fuel, zero emission. And we have kind of a crosstab matrix here if somebody wants to look at see what passenger registrations for motorcycles or campers or auto homes. And we also have a 4th page, which is the total annual VMT. So this is different than the daily. This is basically an annual aggregation over 365 days. So this right now we're looking at 2022, which is January 1st, 2022, all the way through December 31st, 2022. So essentially, if a vehicle is active for 1 day in the state, then we count it for that's estimated daily mileage. And if a vehicle was active for 365 days, and we take their estimated daily mileage times the amount of days a vehicle is active, and we add that all up, and that's how we have 44.2 billion annual VMT for the state. We can also break this down further if you want to just go into a single municipality. Finally, we have our about page, which kind of describes our methodology and background. And within this page, one can also click through, and if you want access to the data, we have that posted and published on Geodat. So you can get 4 different data sets. We have the annual number, which is the aggregation I just told you about. We have the first of the year, which is basically what the first 3 pages are showing you. And we have that broken down to 2 separate granularities. One is at the municipal level, and one is broken down to the zip code level. Does anybody have any questions?
I do not see any raised hands at this point.
Okay. I will try to stop sharing.
Hi, this is Liz. Can you hear me again?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Finally. I will put the link to the vehicle census in the chat so folks can definitely take a look at that. Please share the dashboard with, friends, family, loved ones, colleagues. It's really important for us to make sure that people know that this resource is out there and really avail themselves of it. And as Michael showed, the data is available for download. So in addition to the KPIs that we thought were cool, there's probably a lot more that you could do with this too, especially locally. I'm not sure, Michael, if you mentioned the next phase of this project is going to move at a more granular geography. So hopefully in the fall, we'll be releasing phase 2, which gets down to the block group level. So we can look inside municipalities and really understand what's happening at a more local level. That's especially helpful for things like siting infrastructure, like electric vehicle charging stations, and just making sure that infrastructure is available to people. So if there aren't any other questions, we will let you get back to your meeting. But thank you so much for giving us some space on the agenda and an opportunity to share this. And please reach out in case you have questions or see something on the dashboard that you've got would like clarification on or want to reach out on. So thanks again, Brad.
No problem. Thank you very much for presenting. I'll also make the links available in the minutes when we send them out for the meeting too. But thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me bring the agenda back up. Okay. Here's the agenda. Dick, are you still on there? Are you able to?
Yeah, I had to go back onto my phone. I don't know. Technology sometimes is not great. So moving on to item number 7, the 2023 through 2027 Transportation Improvement Program. So we'll review of the Transit Highway Amendment number 5 first, and then we'll be looking follow that with a recommendation to the MPO regarding that particular amendment. So is that review you handling,
That is going to be George Snow.
or George? Okay.
Thank you. The MPO was contacted by MassDOT about the need to amend the FFY 2023 through 2027 TIP due to a price increase for project number 607432, the Westminster Route 140 Rehab and Box Widening Project in the FFY 2023 highway element. The project has seen a cost increase from about 6.4 mil to about 10.1 mil for a net increase of about 3.7 mil, or approximately 58.6% increase. Because this represents an increase of more than 10% for a program project over 5 mil, an amendment to the FFY 2023 highway element is required. The endorsed TIP is physically constrained for FFY 2023 that has about 2.3 mil available in target funds for this project. The state has committed to fund the remaining project cost of about 1.4 mil that exceeds the regional target through statewide funds. This combination of funding means that the FFY 2023 TIP will still be physically constrained. A motion was made, seconded, and passed at the 6/28/23 MPO online meeting to release the amendment for a 21-day public review and comment period. The period commenced on Monday, 7/3/23, and will close at the end of business on Monday, 7/24/23. No comments have been received as of today. Today, we are seeking MJTC comments on the amendment for the MJTC to make a possible recommendation to the MPO that the amendment be passed by that body.
Are there any comments from anyone regarding this proposed amendment? If not, is it the consensus of the MPO that a recommendation be made? I'm sorry, consensus of the JTC that a recommendation be made to the MPO at their upcoming meeting to endorse this amendment as presented? Seeing or hearing no objections, I think we have the recommendation as requested. That means we can move on, George, to the second amendment.
Okay. The MPO was contacted by MART and MassDOT about the need to amend the transit element of the FFY 2023 through 2027 TIP. The amendment is for cost changes to 6 projects and removes 2 projects in the FFY 2023 transit element. The changes are due to price increases and updated MART priorities. At the online MPO meeting held on 6/28/23, the MPO reviewed the proposed amendment and a motion was made, seconded, and passed that the amendment be released for an abbreviated and minimum 10-day public review and comment period. The allowable 10-day period for the amendment is due to MART funding needs. The abbreviated public review and comment period commenced on Monday, 7/3/23. It will close at the end of business today. Today, we are seeking MJTC comments on the amendment and for the MJTC to make a possible recommendation to the MPO that the amendment be passed by that body.
The amendment you see up on the screen, the red colored items are the projects that were removed from that fiscal year. The yellow highlighted had cost changes associated with them, and that is shown again. The yellow highlighted projects are the ones where the cost changes were made. As with the highway amendment, we're looking for comments at this meeting. Are there any comments from the members regarding this? As mentioned, it was put out for an abbreviated comment period of 10 days. We will work with MassDOT to get the final endorsement of this put together. But again, any objections to a recommendation to the MPO that this amendment be endorsed as presented? I I see no objections, no hand raises or anything, so I believe that recommendation passed. So thank you very much. It means we can go back to the next item on the agenda.
Item number 8, the Montachusett Regional Transportation RTP Plan.
That is going to be Sherry.
Sherry?
Yep. All right, thank you. At the last month's MJTC meeting, we went over into detail some of the draft chapters of the RTP. So today, we'd like to give just an overview of the executive summary so you can get kind of a better idea of how the whole plan is put together if you hadn't had a chance to look it over yet. So at last month's meeting, the MJTC made also a recommendation to the MPO to put the draft RTP out for a 21-day public comment period that started July 3rd and will be ending on the 24th. So this meeting is an opportunity to provide public comments or feedback while it's within the comment period. So feel free to send over any comments you might have before July 24th. So for the executive summary, some of the components of that include an introduction and the background section, which is pretty self-explanatory, kind of gives a background of the region and what we're doing with the RTP. And then demographics section is a significant update from the 2020 RTP plan because there's now the 2020 census has occurred. So we went over some of these population projections at our June meeting last month as well. And then the goals, objectives, strategies, and performance measures section, as you might recall, these being a significant part of our MJTC meetings in the last year or so. The MJTC played an important role in shaping the changes we've made. So a big thanks to all that participated in that process. And just to remind everyone that our vision statement is as follows. The Montachusett Metropolitan Planning Organization seeks to provide a multimodal and inclusionary transportation system that is safe, secure, efficient, and affordable to all individuals while supporting and encouraging environmentally sustainable economic development, growth, and revitalization in the Montachusett region. I know that that has been brought up many times at MJTC, and we got a lot of feedback and came up with that final version. The infrastructure and congestion section focuses on condition trends of roads and bridges. It also highlights congestion details and the effects of the pandemic on the traffic patterns. There's definitely a lot of pandemic discussion throughout the RTP because it did have such an effect on our transit and transportation systems. The safety section also focuses on trends based on like crashes and top crash locations. The bike and pedestrian section was reviewed, I think, last month as well. It's shows the existing and proposed infrastructure in relation to bikes and pedestrians, as well as significant rail trails in the region are also highlighted here. Economic vitality, effect the transportation network has on the region's economy. The transit section, state of the current network and effect the pandemic has had on the transit operations. The environmental section, possible effects of climate change on the region's infrastructure is highlighted. And it focuses heavily on flood zones, which seems super relevant given this week we are seeing significant flooding on a lot of our area roadways. Public outreach input and participation were the details of the results of the surveys and public outreach that we have done and that were conducted over the past year. The equity section looks at the distribution of investments throughout the region over the recent years. The planning scenarios, which I know was presented on at the previous meeting as well, where they detailed some funding scenarios to be considered. And last but not least, the financial section, which is a major requirement that the RTP document is fiscally constrained. So the approach we used to determine fiscal constraint was to look at trends and recommendations identified within the document and then determine if there are any major needs that fall outside our future funding expectations. So ultimately, we determined that the plan is fiscally constrained. So during this comment period, we have not seen any comments yet, but that's not super uncommon. They usually kind of come in towards the end of the comment period. So we will be presenting any comments that we received at the upcoming MPO meeting next Wednesday. And speaking of the MPO meeting, following Wednesday, that's right. Sorry, I forgot we moved it. And then, so at the end of my presentation, we were hoping to get a consensus, just like we did for the TIP amendments, to have the MJTC recommend that the MPO endorse the RTP at their July 26th meeting, the following Wednesday. So does anybody have any questions on the document as a whole or the executive summary that I presented or anything related to the RTP?
I'll just jump in and say we also sent out with the meeting notices a copy of the trends and recommendations chapter from the RTP. And this just gives you a breakdown of the trends and recommendations from each of the various chapters, as Sherry just went over with you. I will say I'm going to say that let me get back to it long. If you're interested in seeing the RTP, you can go to the MRPC website, which I will do right now. Can you see the website up here on the screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Right at the top, you'll see this large bar, and I'm not sure how we were able to put it up there. The website program we have has some curious ways of doing things, but you could click on that tab right there saying Draft 2024 Montachusett RTP, the full document, or you can scroll down a bit, and on the left-hand side, you'll see this bar that says Journey to 2050. This bar, the Journey to 2050, will take you to this page here. And here are the individual chapters. So you can look at one chapter at a time, whichever one you're interested in. The complete RTP is available at the bottom here. Please note it is rather large at 22 megabytes. So you can click to download any of these chapters. If you want to make a comment, you can use this link. Send us an email at rtp@mrpc.org with any comment you deem appropriate. We will receive that and look at those and gather them together and make responses to the individual comments. And then that'll be incorporated into an appendix into the RTP of comments and responses from that we receive. So yeah, if you're interested, please feel free to take a look at our website to get there. Or as I said, this link up top actually will take you to the full document. On the left, you can see just the screen of it is a fairly large document of 334 pages, but so you can break down and take the individual chapters as you please. That is just what I'd like to say. And okay, getting interested in that. That's all I have on the RTP and what Sherry has. Are there any questions or anything from anybody? No? And again, feel free to send any comments at any time, and we can be more than welcome to look at them and take a look at it, and we'll go from there. Okay. So that is all we have on the RTP. So is there any objection to a recommendation from the JTC to recommend the MPO endorse the RTP subject to all comments received? I see no objections at this point. So we'll assume that everybody is on board with recommending that the MPO endorse the RTP. Thank you. Going back to the agenda.
Okay. Item number 9, our contract status reports. First one being the Federal Transit Administration.
George Cahaley is not here today for the FTA and RTA updates.
Okay.
But nothing much has changed. We've been working with them on the TIP amendments as presented. And the only other thing I'd like to say is we have a new planner on board with the commission, Tyler Godin, who is in attendance today. And he's going to be concentrating right now on transit as we move forward. So he'll be our go-to person on transit questions. Okay. Moving on to Mass DOT. Let me just get to my point on that. Not too much on our side this go round. There's just a couple of items of interest. I can find them. There are a couple of handouts that are available for everybody as part of this presentation. There is one on the Northern Tier. Here we are. From the Northern Tier Passenger Rail Study. This is their latest newsletter, which covers the end of June, possibly part of July. It talks about some of the upcoming events and what they're working on right now. And as soon as they get some of these more analysis conducted, they'll be doing some some presentations of the information as they've developed them. One of the things they'll be looking at is a cost-benefit analysis. And there's a brief explanation on what that entails and what they'll be presenting when they get those conducted for the various alternatives as that they're investigating at this point. The other item I have for handout relates to an update from the U.S. Department of Transportation. This is on a release of a Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO as it's called, for the Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhoods program, which they've combined with which has up to about $3.16 billion available for planning and reconstruction projects. Basically, this NOFO is a combination of two major discretionary grant opportunities, the Reconnecting Communities Pilot Program and the Neighborhood Access and Equity Programs. They were combined based upon into a single NOFO because of some of the similar parts of the program, so that they felt they had shared many of the same common characteristics, including prioritizing disadvantaged communities, aiming to improve access to daily destinations, fostering equitable development and restoration, and reconnecting communities by removing, retrofitting, and mitigating or replacing highways or other transportation facilities that create barriers to community connectivity. So this handout sort of highlights the connections between the two programs, as well as what's available and what can be asked for or applied for within these programs. There are some links available to take you to the NOFO and to grants.gov for developing and putting together an application. The applications have to be submitted through online connections. It's spelled out in the information outlined here. I will say too that this notice is posted on our website, so you can download a copy and have usable links from what we have, as well as with the Northern Tier project. We have some usable links there. Those are the only two real handouts I have in development for you regarding Mass DOT. I don't know if any of the districts want to make any comments or share anything. Okay. Well, that's all I have on Mass DOT. If there were any comments or questions at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
If we don't, then we'll move forward to item number 10, our administrative matters, which is scheduling our next MJTC.
Right. Couple of items. Typically, we look to have a break at the end of the year in terms of the meeting dates. I was going to have a calendar put up. So up for consideration is meeting in next month, which is August. Can you see the calendar now of monthly meetings?
Yep.
Okay. Typically, if we decide not to meet in August, we will then meet in September. And as I said in the past, we've also slowed down meetings after September. So if we skip August, meet in September, we can then also skip October, meet in November, and then skip December. And then by that time, come January 1st, we'll be back into the chip development process and be meeting on a regular monthly basis from that point on. But at this point, I'm not sure of any major pressing issues that will require a MJTC meeting in August. Certainly, if something does come up and we need to meet, we will send notices out and give people ample opportunity to notice of the meeting coming up. So with that, I'm leaving the question open whether the MJTC wishes to meet in August or cancel August and move on to September 13th as the next meeting.
I see one hand raised, Brad.
Okay. Chris, do you have a question?
Hey, that's me. Yeah, no question, but I guess just a comment. So we do expect to have 2 highway amendments to bring to the MPO this month for endorsement in August. I'm not sure if the JTC would want to weigh in on those amendments at all, but I do know that looking at the development tip, I don't think there are any projects in the Montachusett region, either on the regional program or the statewide program, that advertise in the first quarter of fiscal year 2024. So if the group does meet in August, I wouldn't expect it to be necessary for them to meet again until November or December. Just kind of estimating based on what I see here on the project list. I just wanted to throw that out for some information, I guess.
Okay. So there is the possibility of using the August MJTC meeting as a public comment opportunity on some proposed amendments that are coming up. They'll be talking about the next MPO meeting, which will be on the 26th of July. So the question goes back to the JTC as to how they would like to proceed with the next meeting. And Bob Schwartz is online now. Bob, congratulations, you were elected as chair. So you will begin the chair and come the next meeting. So do you have any feelings one way or the other? You're muted, Bob. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Just express my appreciation and thanks for everyone for making me chair. I'll try to do the best I can. Good. Interesting. It's going to be challenging and interesting.
Yes, especially when we come tip process again.
Brad, I like the idea that was brought forward about meeting in August and then potentially not September and or October. I mean, I know people will be on, there will be some that will be on vacation, but I don't think it makes, I mean, we're not going to be able to have everybody all the time at each time. So if there's something that might be brought forward for action, we could already have it scheduled and then skip September and pass over September and October. That's just I'd like to entertain that if other folks are interested in that as well.
All right. All right, well, then we'll keep it scheduled as I don't see any other hands up for comments. We'll keep the August meeting scheduled and then see what happens at that point. So our next meeting will be August 9th at 2:30. That brings us back to the last item on the agenda, adjournment.
Is there a motion there to adjourn?
So move.
Seconded.
I'll second.
All those in favor, everybody's going to say
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll send out notices again for the next meeting and we'll see you August 9th.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.